Hello everybody, my name is Arthur and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm gonna be showing this stuff I did in my first 2 months studying Japanese. Here I have this text file to scroll down and show some stuff, and here I have my anki. If you don't know what anki is a spaced repetition system software, and it's really useful for learning any kind of stuff, really. And I've been using Anki for 3 years, and now I'm using Anki to study Japanese as well. So before we dive what I did for learning Japanese, let me just show you quickly here my English deck. So I have here 5074 cards, and I made each one of them. And if you compare the first cards, look at this stuff. If you compare the first cards to the last cards, you can realize a lot of improvement. In the last cards, right at the beginning, it didn't take so long before I stopped using translation. You can realize I stopped using translation and started using dictionary definitions instead, and that's gonna happen to me with Japanese as well if I do everything right and if I keep consistent, and it should happen to you as well. And this is something you want to happen to you, because you don't want to be mentally translating things. It's bad for learning language, you know. You want to read this thing and understand right away. You don't want to depend on your language to understand another language. You have to be independent. In each language you speak, alright? So I'm already noticing this kind of improvement in my Japanese deck. There are some phrases I don't put any translation. There are some I don't put the translation, but I put the definition in English or in Portuguese. And there are some I don't use translation, but the word I don't know, let's say I know another word that has the same meaning, so I put the word I just learned, and the word that has the same meaning. So yeah. Okay, and now the stuff I did with Japanese. So the first thing I did when I decided to learn Japanese was to download hiragana and katakana decks. Hiragana and katakana are very simple. They are just 46 symbols for 46 letters for each. So I thought it wouldn't be a problem to download them, a deck in AnkiWeb, even though I do not enjoy downloading things on AnkiWeb, but I think that only applies to sentence cards. And I also downloaded the Radical deck from Fluent Forever. I thought it would make kanji more easy, and it really does. But my opinion on this is that it's useful. It's more useful for when you're already trying to write down kanji, for when you're trying to read, because you don't need to know how to write the kanji to be able to recognize the kanji. So I'm not reviewing this anymore. I might in the future, and after studying for a few weeks the hiragana, katakana, and radical deck, and by the way, I didn't bother a lot with pronunciation. The decks I downloaded had the person speaking, but as Japanese pronunciation, oh my gosh, get out of here. But as Japanese pronunciation is pretty easy for people that speak Portuguese and Spanish as well, I didn't have a lot of difficulty with the Japanese pronunciation. And also, if you watch anime all the time, you might have a lot of facilities with that, listening, because of listening. And after the hiragana and katakana, what did I do? I downloaded the signature deck from Fluent Forever again. But you know, it was kind of my mistake because I should have just started adding a lot of phrases already. But instead, I started making cards like this one with a word alone, and you know, you can see here, right? And I don't really like to make cards using the word alone without no context, even though you have the sentence field here. And that because different words in different contexts, yeah, a word in different contexts may have different meanings. And as well in Japanese, it may have different pronunciations. So I can't rely on this kind of deck. I don't rely on this kind of deck anymore. I may rely on it in the future to get, you know, because of this add-on, you get the add-on I downloaded. You get the stroke order and the reading. I might as well delete a lot of these fields. And what did I do when I kind of abandoned the signature card type? So I went to my usual card type of learning sentences, and it is this one. And it's just two fields with front and back. Really simple. You put a phrase here. Your phrase, no wait. Kimi no rebun. You put your phrase here, and here you put your translation. And I kind of do this. So basically here I put the phrase. So I'm gonna talk later about where I can find my phrases. I put my phrase. Oh wait, translation. Here we have the translation of the phrase. If possible, if I understand enough of this that I don't need the translation, or I can just, just don't know this word and still not use the translation, because here I'm gonna have the definition, or basically just the translation of the word. But yeah, if possible as well, I ain't gonna use any English or Portuguese. So I could just do this. Kimi no re bun. Your example sentences, your example phrases. And let's say I don't know the word kimi. So here, kimi, I have the reading. And here I have a synonym of the kanji, anata, which is also you. There is a little difference between the context you use this to, because this one is more formal and this one is less formal. And anyways, you don't really use pronouns that much in Japanese. You do use them, but we don't use them. You don't use them as much as we use in English. So alright, so this is how I make my phrases now. And let me just show some of them here. Here, you have a lot of phrases. Some don't have translation. Just showing you around. And this is how I get vocabulary and learn new structures. And I'm gonna do this pretty much until I'm fine, until I can read Japanese very well, like in English. The last cards I added to my English deck was last year, and I'm great reading books and reading stuff on the internet, so I don't need to add cards anymore to that deck. And in the future, as you might have already, understood. I'm gonna stop using translation and start using Japanese definitions of the words I don't know, and that's how I'm gonna grow my vocabulary. So, about grammar, I recommend you not to study grammar um, more than you want to, get the grammar through the phrases. And by that I mean, don't try to memorize grammar rules. You're gonna get used to the grammar and to the phrase structures of the language as you go with the phrases. And now let me something else. Yes. Intelligent use of translation and do what's possible to avoid mental translation. Did I talk about this already? The use of trying to get away of using translation as soon as you can is that you don't wanna be mentally translating everything you read. Let's see. Um, Kimi no kodomo, your child. You don't want to be like Kimi no kodomo. This kanji is for child. This is oh no, this kanji is for you. This kanji is for child, and this means that this stuff belongs to this stuff. Oh, this stuff belongs to this stuff. So it means your child. But you don't want to do that. You want to read Kimi no Kodomo and understand right away that Kimi no Kodomo has the meaning it has without trying to translate. And for each word you're gonna have, you're gonna have to review it a few times before you have this, internalized concept linked to the kanji or to the word in any alphabet of the Japanese, and also to the sound. I find that linking some words to the sound is difficult to then it's more difficult than linking them to their meaning. But it's fine. With a few reviews I can grow out of that. For example, rireksho, this, it means, what's the name in English for that? It's this of you write your professional experience, and in Portuguese it's currículo, alright? And I had a lot of difficulty remembering this word. I mean, because it's big and it's got this pronunciation, this huge pronunciation, but I grew out of it, and now I know it. So you just gotta be consistent. You can see I've been really consistent with my Japanese studies. So this day I was feeling a little bit blue, so I didn't review. But I should have, alright? Alright, so having said all this, let me just show you some websites I get phrases from. So I really like this channel, and it's in Portuguese, yes, but I'm not gonna recommend it to people that don't speak Portuguese, because relying on a language you don't know to learn another language you don't know is asking too much. But it's just to give you an example of what you have to look for. So they have these where is it? Here. This kind of type, this type of
Olá,
video
seja bem-vindo
where it's just the phrase and the translation, the definitions of the words, and the guy he explains the context and the stuff, and it's really useful to take sentences like these. You can find pretty much every Japanese class. You can just don't just watch the class, take the phrases and add to your anki, you know And they also have a lot of posts here. And this is from our a song in Japanese, and I really like this song. If you don't remember, it's the Aoi Shiori. It's the opening of Anohana. Yeah, that anime. And I also use the Jisho dictionary to, when I don't know a word and I want a definition. And sometimes I can get some phrases from here as well and add them to my anki, and they're gonna be useful to me. And there's this site as well, News Web Easy. It has a lot of Japanese news in Japanese, but it's a simple Japanese. And here you have kanji no yomikata okesu. You can turn off and turn on the way of reading the kanji, and that is the furigana. And you have a lot of stuff here. You have some subtitles, I think I would say that. And green names are a name of people. Orange names are names of places, and blue names are names of, of brands. And aside from this, I'm gonna search for a few YouTube channels and some websites I can recommend for people that speak English, because I just don't want to talk to you about that Portuguese channel and don't talk to you about thing you can actually use for yourself. And so in this video, let me just add a phrase. I showed you around how I do it, so now let's do it for practice. So here the song has a phrase, kind of, it's this part here. And here I have the origin. どうかしてるみたい. So when I was watching the anime, I would always get confused when the singer sang this part, because by shiteru, I would remember shiteru, which is like knowing, and I would get confused. But when I got here, I decided to search this whole thing, dokashiteru, here in the Jisho dictionary, and found out that it means that there is something wrong with someone. And I remember in the subtitles in English of the song, it was like, it looks like there's something wrong with me. I think there's something wrong with me. Kind of this thing. And now let's add this phrase here. どうかしてるみたい. どうかしてるみたい. So I'm not gonna add translation to this because I've heard this song so many times. I liked the opening song, and どうかしてるみたい. I've listened to it a lot of times. So what is this mitai? This mitai is like, it's like, it's apparent that, so doka shiteiru, it looks something wrong with someone. Mitai looks like there's something wrong. And where is me? Here you can have it by the context, because a lot of stuff in Japanese, I said earlier that the Japanese don't use pronouns the same way we do. So here we don't have anything that says it's me directly, but by the context we can understand this. So yeah, so this is it for this video. I hope I'll get to see you in the next video, and that that you're finding this useful. And yep, see y'all later, bye.